why it just can't be.
Pinnacle Fight Night live on Integrated Sports. Presented by Sports and Entertainment Media, Inc. Produced by 21 Lakes Media Group. Promotional support from FightNews.com and SecondsOut.com. And this is the outside of the Exposition Center here in Sandy, Utah. Hello again, everybody. I'm the Colonel Bob Sheridan with Al Bernstein, Joe Macy, and Benny Ricardo. We welcome the many countries back that have been with us throughout the course of the evening, and for the few countries that are just joining us for the main event, this is Pinnacle Fight Night. It's a heavyweight battle featuring the number 12 or 13th ranked heavyweight in the world, and David Tua, who is in the middle of a comeback, a real good comeback that he's been mounting in the last couple of years, and this is a big fight for him as he takes on Saul La Cobra Montana. David coming in 47-3, one draw, 40 knockouts. Montana has 42 knockouts with 48 wins in his career. He's the reigning champion from Los Cabos in Mexico. We welcome everybody that is joining us throughout the Pacific Rim tuned into this fight. We have a special feature with David Tua, so let's go to it.
Talofa. My name is Toltai David Tua, Talim Tasi Sanrivi. Well, I was asked after the last fight, if I was happy with my performance. I said I was happy, but I'm not satisfied. So with this fight here, I believe in my heart, my soul, my mind, my whole being is that I'm well prepared for this fight. Whatever will be, will be. I can only hope that I turn up in the night of the fight and feel the beast, and I can only go out and perform to the very best that I can be. So at this particular time for this fight, I feel pretty good. If anything else, I would love to establish a good jab, knowing the distance, be able to throw combination rather than just a big punch. So we'll wait and see. I'm ready for anything. I don't know what I'll do. It's living the moment and enjoying the moment. The bell might ring and I might decide to get up and box. I don't know. So given the fact, I'm well prepared, so whatever will be, will be. So more than anything else, what everything pulls down to is the night of the fight. So whatever he will bring to the fight, we will adjust to it. So where things are right now, it is important to establish who the boss is from the first round, respectfully. But I know this, I'm gonna win.
He's a wonderful kid. You see why we like him so with him since the Barcelona Olympics, done many of his fights down in New Zealand. He is in fantastic shape, 237.5. His former trainer and manager, Kevin Barry, told me that's the best shape he's been in his life in the past 6 years, and he wishes him the best. David said the same. I hope things are going well for Kevin. This is Saul La Cobra Montana. He comes in here. This guy's better than a journeyman fighter.
He is. The issue with Saul Montana is he's been a decent heavyweight, but has had trouble with the bigger, better heavyweights. At Jimmy Montoya, very well-known and respected boxing figure who's his trainer and manager. The question for Saul Montana, and it's a question when smaller heavyweights face David Tua, can they deal with his power, Joe?
That's right, and Montana, as much as durable as he is, the reputation that he has, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think he will be able to hang with Tua's strength, his size. But tonight is the night of the survivors. Gomez, Reed, Montana. These guys are really guys that are giving their opponents a true test because they're guys that know how to survive. They are durable. They have good reputations in the ring for lasting the distance, or 8 or 9, 10 rounds. And this will be a good test for David Tua in his comeback.
And a telling point is that the man you're looking at actually started his career as a super middleweight at 168 pounds. So it's an indication of how far up he has come.
In talking to Jimmy Montoya and Ruben Chavez, who handle this guy, they know they've got a crafty fighter on their hands. They also know they almost have to go for a knockout. That's a tall order because David Tua doesn't get knocked out.
No, but here's the other thing, though. David Tua, and you and I have both seen it, and Bob, you've certainly done a lot of his fights. He will have moments where he can zone out in a fight and be very lethargic in a fight. If a fighter like Montana can create a very slow pace you can lull David Tua into a fight where you kind of outpoint him. So that, I think, is a lot of what Montana wants to do.
Yeah, and Montana could bang a little bit. His last fight was a first-round knockout over Mario McGill down in Mexico. And in July, he won 12 hard rounds with a pretty good puncher in San Sam in Germany and lost a very close decision in that one. Here comes David Tua, the Tua man. Handled now by Cedric Kushner, promoted by Cedric. David's a wonderful kid. His mom and dad are watching in New Zealand. Tuivale, and of course his mother Noella. As you take a look at his 5 last performances, all victorious. His last loss, you got to go back to Chris Bird, and he was at the same weight that he is at 237.5, and that's exactly 6 years ago to the day today. Since then, management problems, he's over that, he's past that, got married to Robina, bringing up the kids, he's happy. And Joe, how much is being happy and have the business end out of it, how much is that going to do with your performance in the ring?
Oh, it's got a ton to deal with it. I've had to overcome setbacks, injuries, and a lot of times inside the ring I feel distracted and not happy. But I think for this first time that David Tua does seem really genuinely happy and focused.
And everybody wants to fight him. The guys from Superfight want him in that. And Dean Lonergan, the promoter in New Zealand, wants him to fight Shane Cameron, offered him $250,000 to come back to New Zealand. And I know Shane and Dean and all those people are watching tonight. So let's see. Let's get it underway. I'm excited to know you folks are David Tua and Saul, Montana. Here's our ring announcer, Joe Martinez. Joe.
Live from the Towne Exhibition Center in Sandy, Utah, it is time for the main event of the evening. 10 rounds scheduled in the heavyweight division, brought to you by Sports and Entertainment Media in association with Cam Boxing and Cedric Kushner's Gotham Boxing. And before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to take a moment to recognize West Jordan, Utah's own former middleweight champion of the world at ringside, Gene Fulmer. And now, ladies and gentlemen, live around the world and in North America on Integrated Sports Pay-Per-View, we start with our introductions for this main event 10-round heavyweight bout. Your 3 judges scoring at ringside are Lynn Moore, Chet Fulmer, and John Tuero. When the bell rings, your referee in charge of all the action, the man in the middle, Larry Fulmer. This bout is sanctioned by, thank you. This bout is sanctioned by the Pete Suazo Utah Athletic Commission Secretary Bill Colbert, Commissioner Richard Montañez. Physicians at ringside are Dr. Blake Welling and Dr. Nadine Bakazi, with your timekeeper in charge of the bell and counting for knockdowns, Amy Stedman. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the judges are ready and the fighters are ready. Sandy, Utah, make some noise. Are you ready? Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue trunks, trimmed in silver, he weighed in officially 242 pounds even. Presentando primero en la esquina azul con los calzoncillos azul con plata y un peso de 242 libras. As a professional, this veteran brings an outstanding record into the ring. 48 victories, including 42 wins by way of knockout and 14 defeats. Su récord profesional, 48 victorias con 42 por knockout y 14 derrotas. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the Mexican heavyweight champion, presentando el campeón mexicano en el peso completo de Los Cabos, México. Presentando Saul, la Cobra Montana. And next is opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. He wears the black trunks, trimmed in white, and weighed in officially 237.5 pounds. Y su oponente en la esquina roja con los calzoncillos negro con blanco y un peso de 237 libras y medias. He too brings an outstanding professional record into the ring. 47 victories, including 40 big wins by way of knockout and only 3 defeats in his professional career, with 1 bout even. He is the number 13 rated contender in the WBC from South Auckland, New Zealand. Here is David Towne.
All right, Larry Fulmer brings him in.
In your dressing rooms and explain the rules. Do you have any questions? I expect a good, clean fight. Go to your corners and come out boxing. Touch gloves.
Again, this fight is sanctioned by the Pete Suazo Utah Athletic Commission. We'll take a look at the tail of the tape, and it's going to show us a few things. David Towne is an inch shorter. He's 5.5 pounds lighter. He's 3 years younger than is Saul Montana, and he has a 1 inch shorter reach than does Montana. So everything but age in favor of Montana. But that's the way it is with David most of the time when he fights. Let's see if he establishes a jab, or do we see the left hook immediately, or do we see the right hand? Montana will have to be cautious early with this guy, or will he attack? And he does attack. David catching punches, and he does a good job of that. He has pretty good head movement, at least he trains for that. Ducks underneath the shots of Montana in the early going here. David hasn't let fly with the left hook or the right hand yet. When he opens up, he'll do it summa cum laude. In other words, with a big, big splash. And sometime he waits. There's that jab. Guy we saw fighting earlier who sparred with him a lot, Gary Gomez, says he thinks that David's showing more quickness than what he saw him in the early part of his training. He's been up here for 4 weeks training here. His first right hand downstairs, and so far, Montana just outboxing David in the early going.
Well, it's interesting. Saul Montana fighting a very aggressive fight right in front of David Towne. Now switching to lefty, a very intriguing ploy, and we remember how Chris Bird so easily handled Towne. Maybe this lefty stance is an interesting ploy for Montana.
But you got to think there could be no better preparation than sparring Gary Gomez to get ready for Saul Montana. That's pretty good sparring.
Yeah, you get two plotted-type fighters, but there's an awful lot of experience in the favor of Montana, who's back fighting as a right-handed fighter. He's doing the scoring. There's the left hook. It finally finds a hole. And another left hook.
You can't trade left hooks with Towne. I don't care how many Montana lands. Trading hooks with David Towne is a big mistake.
But again, don't forget, Jimmy Montoya handles Montana, and he knows the best shot is to try to pressure him early and see what happens. You can't lay back and let him just unleash those left hooks.
No, but you don't want to stand in front and trade left hooks. That's a mistake.
Nobody wants to trade left hooks with David Towne.
And Montana's winning this round, make no mistake about it, but you don't square yourself up and crank left hooks against Towne. You'll get whacked.
As Towne with the right hand downstairs, but not thrown viciously. You see David huffing and puffing again. There's altitude here, but he's been here a long time. But that's the way David has always fought throughout his career.
You know what I like about Montana? There it is.
The left hook. The first left hook he threw dropped Montana, and he may not recover. It came like a bolt out of the blue. It's up to 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. It's all over. David Towne did what he came to do, and he knocked out Saul Montana with the very first left hook he threw. How about that? Well, Ray Wheatley, of the boxing world of Boxing Magazine in Australia, who's also a vice president of the IBF, said, I want to rank this guy in the top 10. That's where he belongs. Ray Wheatley might have his work done easily for him tonight.
I repeat, you can't stand and trade left hooks with the left
hook. You said it,
hook.
Al, and as soon as he did it, it happened.
And with all due respect to David, and it was a great win, this is a cruiserweight fighter standing in front of him. Now, that's what he's supposed to do, and it was very compelling and very exciting, and he cranked up that hook, and it is true, even heavyweights, when they get hit with the Towne left hook, they're going to go down.
It is very true. You kind of wonder why Saul Montana did stand and be so stationary in front of David Towne. You wonder what it does prove, but again, it was a very, very powerful, dangerous left hook that you know David Towne has.
It was fun here when Montana was trading hooks and landing shots with him, but here, right in front of him, gets whacked with two big left hooks by David Towne. And that when Towne can get that punch in against anybody, I don't care who they are, he will hurt them. His problem is sometimes, and we just saw him go 10 rounds with Robert Hawkins and not do it, sometimes he doesn't get the punch in, he doesn't land a knockout, but this time he did.
The way Saul Montana came out boxing, it seemed as if that style was tailor-made for David Towne.
Absolutely.
You know? Well, it's what David had to do because Montana could have made this very competitive. But Al, as you pointed out when I was talking about the left hook, you know, you can't trade left hooks, and that was the key difference. He made the mistake, he got in too tight, and he got nailed.
Well, the danger is, David Tua, an exaltant moment for him. The danger is when you're in against a fighter like David Tua, you can hit him with left hooks. And so when you can, you say, I better keep doing this. But it's a bad mistake.
You just need to be a little bit more finesseful with him. You can't be stationary, quick feet, fast hands, not stationary, a lot of movement. Saul Montana didn't show any of that.
Well, David Tua gave the old Keora in the Maori language. The Maori TV had to love it. Let's make it official with our ring announcer, Joe Martinez. Joe?
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes 2 minutes, 15 seconds of round number 1. Referee Larry Fulmer reaches the count of 10 for your winner by knockout victory from South Auckland, New Zealand, David Tua.
So from Auckland to Christchurch, Georgie Calvin, the boys watching in the bar down there. Milson Tevenard and the guys enjoying everything. David Tua has done what the New Zealanders love. And we've got highlights of this, and few though they may be, it's great for David Tua.
Well, you know, early on in this fight, look, that was fun. Saul Montana was making this a very interesting first round. He was landing lots of punches against David Tua. And so for us as fans, it made it interesting, but it put him in the position where that happened.
Making it interesting, but when you're fighting David Tua, you do not want to make it interesting.
No, you don't.
The whole point is to not make it interesting. The whole point is to use every inch of that ring with your feet, with your speed, show him angles, make him hunt for you. And Saul Montana didn't do that, and David Tua landed the best left hook I've seen in a while.
All right, Benny is standing by with David Tua, so Benny, take it.
Thank you, Colonel. 41st knockout of your career, and it happened to be a left hook again.
I just want to say it's an honor to fight here in Utah. I never thought I'd find myself fighting here, but I appreciate everybody for coming out. And you know, I was never gone. You know, this is not a comeback fight. You know, it's a continuation of my tour of duty. And hopefully, I get another opportunity of fighting for the title and hopefully winning it. So I'm happy.
Now, your sparring partner, Gary Gomez, mentioned the fact that he thought you were quicker than you ever have been before. You also talked about it's a different training now for a David Tua. It's a David Tua that's not training to lose weight. It's a David Tua that's training for a fight.
You couldn't have said it any better. I mean, it only took 34 years, but better late than never. Yeah, so.
Absolutely. Now we got his promoter, Cedric Kushner, here. Cedric, what's in the plans now for David Tua? He's coming off a 10-round decision win, and now this big knockout win.
Well, I think the important thing is the continuation of activity, and in light of that fact, everything's now finalized for a fight September 7th at
the Soaring Eagle.
At the Soaring Eagle Casino in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, and then we'll continue from there. David will fight for the World Championship in the next 6 months.
Well, you heard it right there. So, David, you can tell Utah loves you, the world loves you. A great performance. Congratulations on a great performance.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou tātua. Thank you very much for your support, and God bless.
Back to you, Colonel.
Thank you. Well, the most pleasant guys, you take a look at the knockout again. Oh, man. 2 times, Al.
Yeah, it wasn't enough to hit him with one left hook. He doubled with that punch. And when he can get that punch in, David Tua is as powerful as you can imagine. And his trick is got to get that punch in.
All right, so while you enjoy your Sunday afternoon cocktails in New Zealand, because of the brevity of